Today I speak to DJidada, which I pronounced wrong. I was thinking it was DJidada, DJidada. Anyway, she is awesome. She is a turntablist from Berlin. She does finger drumming. She's producing her own music, doing beat making. She speaks at workshops, and she's involved in just so much stuff musically. It was such a pleasure talking to her. All of her links are down in the description below. Please just make a point to check her out. She has a YouTube channel where she's doing some stuff, and I just feel really excited that I came across her on Instagram probably last year, and that she was open to come and talk to me on the podcast today. So please enjoy this because it was fun. Thanks for watching. Hello, how are you this morning? Or actually, it's 11:30 where you are, so you're in Berlin, right?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm all the way in New Jersey, and it's 5:30 a.m. here. So I love these time changes. It works out well for me, though, like I said to you, because I'm a morning person in the sense that's the only time in my house when my kids aren't running around, and it's just like me time. So
yes,
it's good. But I'm gonna say, so I've been thinking your name is DJidada. Is that right?
No, it's Jidada.
Jidada. Okay. DJidada.
Yes.
Okay. What is it? I'm curious. Where'd your name come from?
My name comes from the thing that I started as a turntablist and as a scratcher, and I didn't see myself as a disc jockey, so I just didn't want to name myself a disc jockey or DJ. And I was like, yeah, I studied literature and so on. So I thought like turntablism is a Dadaistic form of art because you like cut sound and make sound collage. So I just merged it like DJ and Dada and just took the I to make one word with it. And yes.
So it's not DJ. So it's DJidada. That's
Jidada,
it.
yes.
DJidada.
Jidada.
Oh, okay. All right. I always want to make sure I get all this right, because we're transcending countries here and languages, and so okay, awesome. Yeah. So I was gonna ask you like just a little bit about your background, which you talking about turntablism and all that, and I know you're doing like production now and working with vocalists and seemingly having all fun sorts of projects going on. So can you like talk just a little bit more about sort of where you started and what you've worked on and what you're doing now, just a general musical background for yourself?
Yes, yes, my music background is like I started when I was 4 and 5 years old. I already was in love with music and wanted to play the piano because my cousin played the piano. And yes, I always wanted to learn that, and I asked my parents if I can have lessons. And so I started when I was 5 years old with piano lessons and studied it for a very long time, more than 10 years. But when I was 8 years old, my uncle with his friends, he was like 9 years older than me, he was scratching at his house and DJing at his house. And I saw this and first time I came in contact with hip hop music. It was like, yeah, close like 1990. It was pretty early, like very early 90s that time. And yes, I fell in love with the hip hop music. So I wanted to be a DJ. So since that time I knew I want to be a professional DJ. But somehow when I grew up, it was very difficult for me because I did not have money and so on to buy turntables. So this dream stayed a very long time a dream just for me. And when I also tried to convince my uncle to give me his turntables and so on, so I got on his nerves every time. But he didn't give them to me. So it was, yeah. And when I grew up and finished my school and so on, I started to work and earn my own money. So I could then afford turntables. So I bought turntables when I was, I think, 23 or 24 years old.
Awesome.
And yeah, that's how it started. And yes, it went pretty quick because like I was active maybe 1 or 2 years practicing
Uh-huh.
my own, and then I got to know some friends, some other girls, and one girl, she was a breakdancer, and she came in contact with a woman who was at the youth promotion office work. She was like making a new project in our hometown, and then she asked me to if I can conduct a DJ workshop for the youth. And yes, although I was quite at the beginning, I just agreed because yeah, my scratch skills were quite well, so I could like imagine to teach scratching and DJing, and yeah, that's how it all started. And then after this, bookings came in, so I started to play at local venues like skate contests and yeah, other venues in the town, also open air venues, and yes, that's what was it like.
And you're still doing, I know because you had mentioned the other month when we didn't connect, like you're still doing teaching as well, right? You workshops
Yes,
and is that
yes,
all based on scratch, teaching DJing and scratching and turntablism, or is it other stuff as well?
it's also other stuff. Last time I conducted workshops was more about finger drumming and beat making.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. And like just going into your story too, like I would think like hip hop, the fact that you were exposed to hip hop in the early 90s through your uncle in Berlin, or in Germany,
No,
still
in Germany.
in
Yes,
Germany.
yes, in Germany.
Okay. Like that's so wild. Cause I mean, I think back to like me being exposed to hip hop here in the States back in the late 80s, early 90s. And even then, like, for example, like Yo MTV Raps, like that was that I don't know what year that came out, but it was the later 80s, I feel like. I mean, that was sort of a new um like hip hop was growing here in America. So that's so cool to hear like how like in Germany, hip
Yeah.
hop was a thing.
Yes, it was somehow because my uncle's friend, he was like he had family, I think, in the United States.
Okay.
So how he brought it somehow to Germany, to our hometown, and they also had to travel that time to get records because there were no record stores that time in our hometown. So it was really, really difficult to get the vinyl records. And so he was like every several months he was going to the United States to buy new stuff so they could play it at a club.
That
Yes.
is so cool. That's a really cool story. That is definitely really cool. And so like now, like I know you were just I think I'm gonna say this wrong because I always how you and you probably will understand this being in a different language as well. You see a word and you have a way in your head you think it's pronounced, but usually many times you're wrong. Music mess, how do you say that?
Music.
Is it music mat? Where the I'm sorry, the conference you were just at, rather, or music?
Yes.
So how did music mess?
Music Messe, yes.
Messa.
Musikmesse.
Music
Musikmesse.
messa. Okay, I wasn't that far off, right? And so that is tell us what that is, because you'll probably do a better job of talking about that and just like what you were doing there.
Yeah, Musikmesse is quite similar to the NAM, to the NAMM. Yes, it's just like you have the different brands and you can like try gear and so on. But this time it was really special because my colleague who is organizing the Sample Music Festival here at Berlin, in Berlin, he was having a booth there. So I also went there to support them because I also part of the team
Mm-hmm.
of the Sample Music Festival. I'm mainly responsible for the female as a women representatives there. So I'm trying to book and find artists who fit to our festival. And because our festival is mainly dedicated to finger drumming, controllerism, and turntablism.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not so easy to find women in this field. There are very few women who are turntablists.
Mm-hmm.
And also, of course, the financial part is not always very easy for us. So we can't like book international artists. It's really hard for us to finance it, like to finance overseas flights and so on. Yeah, so we are just more searching around in Europe for finger drummers and turntablists. Yeah.
And Music Messe, that's like, so that's like is that the full European version of Non? Like is it, or because that's like it was in Germany, right?
Yes, it's considered as the biggest like music venue and yes, exhibition.
Okay.
Music exhibition in Germany.
That must have been
in Europe.
In Europe. That must have been so cool.
Yes.
I can't even imagine. I mean, I've never been to Nam or anything like that. So just to see like all the stuff, that all the gear, but then also like you said, like all the people, all the different, types of people who are there.
Yes, it was pretty awesome to meet a lot of DJs there, to see what they are doing, because all DJs have different styles, and it was so amazing to have also inspiration and input. I also made new contacts, so it's really a good venue to network, and yes, it was really nice time. And we also had a jam booth there, so we could like scratch and finger drum there, so it was a lot of fun.
That's really cool. I saw some like a few things on Instagram, and I was like, oh, that looks like fun. Wow. So like, I mean, so can you again mention the name of the German festival that you were saying that you're coordinating the women? What is the name of it again?
Sample Music Festival.
Okay. Like that's such a cool opportunity. I mean, you're really and being in Berlin must be awesome, and you seem like you have your finger in so many different things, which is so neat. I'm jealous. It sounds awesome.
Yes, but it's also sometimes I don't know what's happening, but in the last time everything is like going crazy in my life, because to be honest, I just like took the decision to make music full time and as professionally since like 1.5 years. So it was the end of 2017 when I took this decision, but it took some time to like get familiar with this thought. And so it's developing, and now I get like requests from other artists, and other people want to work with me. So sometimes you have the difficulty to take decisions, like which project to get involved, which like is maybe not fitting so much, or with whom can I work best, and so on.
Yeah. And then like, and being limited on time, which, always is like a problem, where to find the time. And then like you said, if it is so you're doing this full time, so then also some monetary considerations come into play, I'm sure, at points as well.
Yes.
In the sense that it's more than a hobby, and you need to make some money.
Yes.
I presume.
Yes. I'm working on it now. So to transform your music in a business is something new to me, but I'm working on it, and I'm learning every day. So
that's awesome. I mean, one of the things that stuck out to me too, what you were just saying, is talking about networking. So like the importance of networking, like everybody's always talking about that, because many of us are, it's so easy to live behind our computers and create music on our own or do our own thing, but there truly is a power in networking. And I'm presuming that some of that networking you've been able to do is what also brings you, like you said, the new opportunities, meeting new people and doing new things. So that's cool. Very cool. What, all right. So a few other questions. You talked a little bit about like being a woman in terms of, number one, maybe some of the financially, like just being able to get the equipment and whatever. Do you feel like in terms of being a woman, you've run into any other like roadblocks or situations? And I'm just curious if you have any stories or just something that sticks out in your head and maybe can sort of help in terms of motivating other women out there who, may be feeling a little intimidated about certain aspects of jumping into DJing, for example, or music.
Yes, I had so many different situations, positive and negative. So for me it was, of course, when in my hometown it was quite difficult to get into the scene, and the reactions of other DJs who are also playing at clubs, sometimes in parties at our town, I didn't feel like they take me seriously. So it was sometimes like this, that when I said, yeah, I'm going to juggle, and they laughed and they were not taking it serious. So like behaving like, she won't learn it, and so on. Mm-hmm. But later on, I also met other turntablists who were very open-minded and were like, oh, cool, it's finally a woman is scratching with us. And because this was rare, especially in Germany, there's nearly no turntablists and who are female or identifying as female. So yes, and then I got to know some nice people, and I also learned and developed a lot because of this, because I saw other styles of turntables and scratching and so on. Yeah.
I think that's really interesting. So yeah, it is like sort of like finding the right people, that are going to embrace you for being a female that is a turntablist, who is good at being a turntablist. You're good at what you do. But once you found those right people, it really sounds like that.
Yeah.
Just finding that place where you fit in.
Yeah.
And I think I've heard that before. Yeah.
But the final place I really found, which was finally empowering, because before I never had the courage to be a professional DJ, because also all the time I felt like, no, I'm not still not taking seriously so much for my environment. So it's just like a hobby. Yeah. And Berlin was the final thing that led to this decision that I should do this professional, because after Simple Music Festival, some people came to me and told me I should definitely do this because I have talent, and I should definitely think about this. So I started to think about this, and this was really, really helpful. So sometimes you need someone from outside who's just telling you. And it happened to me, so I was lucky. Somebody, encouraged me to do this. Yeah,
that's such a good point too. Like, the encouragement, and I think that it's so interesting to me because I don't think any men. I think it's difficult for somebody who hasn't been in that position to understand what that feels like in the sense of, wanting to do something, but there's not a lot of women there, feeling intimidated by it, a little bit because you're, like you said, like, juggling, and the guys were like, oh yeah, whatever, you can't do, yeah, I bet you can't do this. But then finding that encouragement that, really helps propel you and keeps you moving forward. I really think that it's so interesting because and not to talk too much because this is about you, but this past few days, like I was thinking about how when I was in high school, I started playing guitar and singing and writing my own songs when I was about 13. And I did that through high school. And then I remember somebody asking me like, oh, you're going to do this professionally. Like you really should, you're writing songs, you're singing. Like I can see you doing this professionally. I remember saying, oh no, it's just a hobby. It's too hard to make it in the music business. I need to have a real career. And I remember this conversation so poignant in my head. And I think to myself, I think it's and I attribute it, like, why did I think that way? Why was I thinking like in such a limiting manner, right? Why wasn't I feeling like, oh no, this is a dream and I'm going to pursue it? And I do think it partially has to be with being a woman and certain expectations of what it means to be a woman and what you're going to do or what you're capable of doing. And then also just not seeing women out there, doing this stuff, like for turntablism. I mean, what you were saying about like you're not in Germany, like here you have this big music festival coming up and it's hard to find female controllerists, turntablists, still, and it's 2019. It's crazy. Okay.
Yes, it's really crazy, but I totally understand what you mean, because it was the same thing. And to be honest, my family didn't support me. They were thinking like I was crazy. Why does a girl want to make hip hop music, to DJ and so on? Electronic music was also not for them. My mother was like only into classical music, and she was like really afraid of what I'm doing and what I'm going.
What is this stuff?
Yes, and this was quite difficult to develop, but yes, I made it now. So I just think, okay, now I will put my whole motivation in, because I finally feel like me, this was so important to me to be finally me, not to do something else, because I also finished studies and I have my Master of Education and so on.
Okay.
But I feel after studies, I did not feel to go to work at school. It was totally, I like children and so on, but no, this job is not for me, not really. Yeah. So it was, I was always very sensitive and emotional person. And I think art is so important for me. So it's like really connected to my personality, and also to give something to people through art, not only, also I like teaching, but I enjoy teaching now in the music. So like the talk to encourage like other girls, women, to put some more effort to learn technological things, and that they are able to do this, and that's not something magical, that only a few people can learn. So that's really important for me. This is motivating me every day.
Yeah, I bet. That's awesome. This is so cool. It's so fun talking to you. I've talked to, I think, 4 or 5 different women now, and it's just so cool to just hear like all these different stories, people doing different stuff in music and what they're doing and how they got there. And this is like so awesome. So cool. All right, let's talk like a little bit of like tech stuff. So I think you use Ableton, right? As a DAW? I think I saw that.
Yes.
Okay. Anything, so like, do you have any favorite gear now, like that you're using? There's probably a lot, right? I don't know. So since you're doing producing stuff, like, let's talk about like one favorite, like a favorite VST or effect right now that you've been using in Ableton.
These VSTs, I just started to use VSTs honestly, because my computer, I had a big computer problem. My computer was not so strong.
Yeah.
So I was really afraid to use VST, and I already had a lot of problems with Ableton in the last time. And now I have a new computer since like 3 weeks or so, or 4 weeks. And since that time, I started to use plugins.
Okay.
I use some compressor and equalizer. That is for some things better for sound shaping, like the red equalizer from Focusrite.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite nice, but also some bass plugins. Yeah.
And that's what's so great about Ableton, is that, like, I think natively Ableton comes with like so many good instruments, effects, even the EQ in there. Like, you don't really need to go outside of Ableton per se, which is just really amazing. And I don't think a lot of people like realize that, because everyone always wants more or thinks more is better, you know.
Yeah.
And especially with the plugins, like, you can just get addicted to each new one that comes out, and it's shiny and new, and you're like, oh, what does that one do? I'm a victim of it, and I think a lot of people are. But like, Ableton is really awesome, even just
Yes.
staying in there natively.
Yes. Staying. I like the Mix for Live um, effects and everything. I use them a lot, and my favorite is the convolution because I know this is like increasing the CPU. Sometimes you don't. You have to be careful to not overdo it, but it's for sound shaping. It's really nice, and also you can like yeah, have different options like to choose a position for the sound source where it should come from, so you can be so creative with it.
Okay.
And for me, for example, it's better to have less gear, but like focus on sound design.
Yeah.
So like I have always a vision how something should sound, and I try to get there. So yeah.
What is your favorite piece of gear right now? Do you have one, something?
Um, I really enjoy the Launchpad Pro.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to buy the machine, but it was so expensive for me. So I want to buy one in the future. But
There's
for now I can't. Yeah.
You get
So
free expansions now if you buy one. Just so you
really,
know. There's just free. They're running a special right now where you get like
uh,
free expansions, which is sort of cool. Okay,
uh,
sorry, shouldn't have cut you off, but so
yes, I really like controllers with nice pads. So for me, it's really important to have good pads so they feel good. Um, I have some problems with MPC
mhm.
because my fingers sometimes ache. I think it's the pads are much harder than machine or launchpad. I
Okay.
like the launchpad because it has 64 pads and you have a lot of options there, and you can also light loop if you want.
Yeah, that's
And
so
yeah,
interesting. Like, if you're doing a ton of finger drumming to the point where you notice like what pads are more comfortable for your fingers over time.
yeah,
Huh.
yes, and also it's like supporting your workflow a lot. So since I got better and better in finger drumming and so on, I just like can record two things at one time, so it takes less
How
time to produce.
how did you build those skills? Just practice, practice, practice. I mean,
Yeah, practice, but somehow because I learned the piano, I think I did not need so much time to learn it.
uh-huh.
Like this was
Interesting.
helpful. Yeah, I think it's somehow if you have experience with like left and right hand coordination, if you
Yeah.
did something like it can be maybe like you play drums and so the coordination of feet and hands is really helpful. I think everyone who has done this in the past, he won't have problems with finger drumming. It's
Mm-hmm. That's
good to
interesting.
practice. So,
Interesting observation. I have not really entered the world of finger drumming at all. But very interesting. And I'm envious of you with the piano experience, which is really awesome to have that as well. That's really so cool. What kind of so in terms of, I know you're working with some artists, like what kind of music, what would you describe your music
mhm.
or making? Like what I mean, is it like electronic? I know you're influenced by hip hop. What would you describe your music as?
My own music is very much like broken beats, new jazz, a mixed, but also mixed with some house styles, house music styles. Yeah, it's much experimental, I think, because it's like merging and different styles a little bit. It depends also whom I'm collaborating with, because yes, some things I did with one percussionist from India, they are much more experimental and each track is different. But my own music is much more like the typical rock beat, deep house style with much groove. So it's much, you can hear that I'm influenced by hip hop because the drums and the grooves are like more the hip hop style, yeah. Not like the four kick beat,
Right.
like in house music it's typical. Yeah.
So what are some of your favorite musicians, like, or bands that you're listening to right now, or have been, listening to?
Oh yeah, I listen to a lot of modern jazz, but
Okay.
more this, not so much the very experimental jazz, like more the soft. I don't know. It's more connected, like it's more similar to hip hop beats. I think it's not so like changing a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
the tracks. And for example, Mark the Clive-Low, I love his new album very much. Heritage, it's called. I listen to it a lot. It's a total different music than I do at the moment,
Okay.
because this music is very like chill out and relaxing. You can listen to it, you go to sleep, and that's what I need at the moment, because when I do my own like very heavy, energetic music, I
Uh-huh.
need to calm down in the evening. So it's very good for me to listen to that kind of music. Yes, and I have some favorite producers also, like which are not so known. They are
Okay.
from the UK underground scene, and for example, there's a producer, Team Bucks in the Attic. It's called. Um, it's one of my favorite producer groups, and yeah, Seiji also is a favorite producer of mine. I like very much Tico from the United States. I don't know if you know Tico. He is also turntablist and producer.
Okay. Cool.
He produces a little bit different than others, because he also uses turntablism a little bit in
Huh.
his production.
Very cool.
He has released some really, really nice albums. I listen to them still, so very nice beats. You
Can you
should.
spell that for us?
Tico is uh, T-E-E-K-O. Tico.
Okay. I'll check that out. I'm not
And
um
yeah, his album is My Sound Station. My Sound Station is one album, and yeah, I like it very much.
cool. There is so much music out there. I mean, as we all know.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And so many producers, and so it's cool, like, finding out about new artists and new producers. So but it sounds like overall you've been influenced, or continue to be influenced by a lot of different types of music.
Yes,
Cool.
I started like my father listened to like psychedelic rock and the very early electronic music of the 70s. So I listened to this a lot. So I feel like I'm influenced by the music my father listened to, because the sounds I'm picking now,
Yeah.
like in my music production, they are so much vintage, like you would call it vintage style today. But yeah, I love it. I love the psychedelic sound, and I
Uh-huh.
use it a lot. Um, yeah, some other people also, when they listen to my music, they say, "Oh, this sounds psychedelic."
Yeah, that's so interesting how I think it's really important to have that background of hearing so many different types of music.
Yeah.
to just like have that inspiration in the sense where
Mm.
you know you go and create your own and you just
Yeah.
can pull from all of these different places, but
Yeah.
like you said, head into a
Yeah.
direction inevitably. But you know, and that's really cool, like that you called your music like more experimental, like but I I really appreciate that, because like you're, you know, sort of making your own sound, which is,
Mm.
you know, a lot of people don't trailblaze like that.
Mm.
So that's cool.
Yeah, I'm really trying to make my own sound. I hope I will make yeah, a good sound. I just want to have a good quality, you know.
Yeah.
It's and to express myself,
Yeah.
obviously. Um,
Yeah.
I was influenced by so many genres, so I listen so much to soul, funk, and also rock. I listen to every kind of music, you know, also classical music. I used to play a lot of Chopin, for example. So the romantic era is an era that influenced me very much as a musician, I think. And yeah,
What motivates you to keep going? I know we've hit on several, you know, things throughout like our chat here, but you know, like sort of when you feel like, okay, like I know you were sick, you had family members that were sick, like you had like the week basically from hell. But like what motivates you to sort of keep going on this journey? I'm just curious, you know.
I don't know. I had some downs also, and I have sometimes the feeling, oh, let's throw it and just do a regular job and so on. But then I think, no, you've gone so far and you always wanted to do this, so no, you have to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other day is again something happening that's like giving me the sign in this direction. So like life is giving me the, you know, the path
Mm-hmm.
and the signs to move forward.
And I always say that like the universe just supports you when you're you know, when you're headed in the right direction. It feels like you know, obviously there's always life's little hiccups here and there,
Mhm.
but overall it does feel like once you're headed where you need to be going, where your heart is, the universe somehow just supports you in moving forward that way.
Yes,
Which is
that's how I feel. Yeah, that's how I feel at the moment. And also, of course, I didn't know in which direction exactly I want to go, but I think I really want to be a music producer.
mm-hmm.
And I'm now working with another singer who is writing her own songs, and she's making more pop music, soul music. So I really enjoy doing this music. Also, I'm not like limited to one
Yeah.
type of genre. I
Which
really,
is nice. Yeah, and I think that's important too, is just being open
yeah,
to pivoting, and you know, if you think you're heading in one direction, to being open to, you know, if the universe presents you this, you're like, oh, okay, let's try this. That vocalist that I think you're talking about, that you were working with, amazing voice. Oh my gosh,
yeah,
I went to her Instagram page and I was just blown away.
yeah,
She's got a great vibe and a really great voice, so that's really exciting.
yeah. And I got to know her. She's a great person.
That's
So
great.
really, working with her is like giving more like energy, and
Right.
I can learn from her because her, I think her lyrics are so authentic, and
And
she's really talented
what's
in
her
writing
I
lyrics.
don't remember her name, so can you just, because
Um,
I'd be interested.
Julia Caribbean,
Okay.
and it's from her because she has a background from Armenia. She's Armenian,
Oh, okay.
and her last name is Armenian, so she took some part from her last name and then turned it into her artist name.
And she's in Berlin as well, right? So you're
Yes, she's in Berlin. Yeah.
that's nice. It must be being, I mean, in my head, I think being in Berlin is, I mean, there's a lot happening in Berlin. Like, so it
Yes.
seems like a great city to be in for music.
Yeah, it's for being inspired. It's definitely a very good place. Yeah, but it's somehow it's also difficult because it's really crowded now with artists. So we have
Mm.
many artists. Yeah, but to collaborate, to get inspired is really good. Yeah.
So do you have certain goals in place? Like, have you thought of, this is where I want to be 5 years from now? And if you
Yeah,
have, would you like to share that with us? Where would you like to be in 5 years? What would you like to be doing?
I really would like to be play make my live show as a finger drummer and so. Yeah, I want to be a DJ, but combine it with finger drumming live performance and play my own music. Yeah,
That's cool.
definitely.
Have
Yeah.
you gotten I don't know if it's like hit Germany. I think it has, but Twitch. Have you like hopped on the Twitch live streaming platform? There's a music and arts, I guess it's called, area section on there.
I've never heard about this. Good to tell.
I think you would enjoy it. So basically, you install the app on your phone or on your iPad, or you can hop on the computer, I think, too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called Twitch, Twitch, and it started as a big thing for gamers. Like they would do live streaming for gaming, different
Mm-hmm.
games. But I guess in the past few years, the section that is for music has really expanded, and so people live stream playing guitar and singing, or more electronic stuff, doing live music, and it's
Mm-hmm.
really cool actually to watch. I think you'll enjoy it, just because there's so many people from different parts of the world hopping on there, depending on when you're on, because obviously we have a 6-hour time difference. So
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people stream in the evening. So it depends, where. So I feel like when I hop on there to see who's there, it depends what time of day it is. Because sometimes I'll catch like a bunch of people in Japan who are, doing
Yeah.
music, and it's DJing too. So you can DJ on there. But it's pretty cool. I think you'll enjoy checking that out. So
Yeah. Good to know because I'm planning to make my live stream also, and I just have technical difficulties still.
I hear you. I
Just solved. So
I joke about that because I feel like I'm technologically savvy. I'm audio savvy, but still setting up sound for live streaming, and then like internet not having dropouts. Oh my gosh, it's a struggle. Picking the right software, I think that's part of it. I think I'm struggling with software that's not playing friendly with me. But anyway, good luck with that, because it's such a
yeah.
pain.
Yeah.
Ay. My issue is my internet. My internet's not strong enough, and where I live, I'm only about an hour and 15 minutes west of Manhattan, of New York City, but it's more rural. But I don't have access to faster internet,
Mm.
and yeah, that's part of my problem. So I get 15 up, which should be enough for streaming, but it's still at like the minimum. Like I need more.
Mm.
I'm sure in Berlin you get really high, you're able to get very high speeds of internet.
Yes. In Berlin, it's no problem. Just if you go outside the city and the small villages outside, they have the same problem in Germany.
Yeah.
So if you live in small villages, it's a
Yeah.
pain.
I'll figure it out. We're supposed to, my internet company keeps telling me they're upgrading and that I should have faster speeds this spring. So we shall see. I'll keep waiting. It's been so nice talking to you. I feel like you just shared so much good stuff. So thank you for spending this time with me today and chatting. It's been great to like get to know you, and excited to share your story with everyone watching. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. And yeah, it was really nice to get to know you. And yeah,
I'm going to put all your links, down below the video here that I'm going to post on YouTube today, which is Monday for me. But yeah, so thank you so much. And maybe we'll chat again soon. And maybe I'll get to Berlin someday. Like that.
You are
Awesome.
welcome. You can also stay at my house if you want.
Do you ever
There-
come to the States? Have you been to New
I,
York City or?
no, I've never been to New York. I hope to get to go there someday.
You have
Yeah,
to
I
get,
really would like to.
yeah, you have to get over here. I know everybody talks about Los Angeles. I feel like Los Angeles seems to be like the music mecca, but New York City is there's a lot going on in New York City too.
Yes, I know, especially the jazz clubs, and that would
Oh
be my
yeah.
priority. So
Yeah.
go
Jazz
there.
clubs, live music. Yeah. I wish I got out more than I did, but I did that in my younger years. So now I'm more of a homebody. Some of that stuff starts so late. Like even like I mean like it's just yeah, so late at night. Anyway, all right, I digress. Thank you so much. Have a great day. And it was a pleasure. Seriously, it was. So thank you. Take care.
Yeah, bye.
All right, bye.